see how you act? Do you see how you act when your team wins?
Oh, my team didn't just win last night, it dominated. I have never seen anything like what my team did last night.
When my team wins, I'm humble in victory, I'm gracious in
Which
defeat.
team to ever win?
The Rams.
The Rams are your team now? That's all you got? Way to go. Congratulations.
You see how you act? You see how you behave when your team wins? Okay.
All right. Skip, you had your moment. That was big. You deserve it because the Cowboys steamrolled their division rival to a 41-21 victory yesterday. Dak threw 3 touchdowns. Zeke ran for 2 more, and the Dallas defense even scored on a pick 6, one of 2 interceptions the team had on the night. And for the Cowboys, they're now sitting in first place in the NFC East and find themselves over 500 for the first time in the Mike McCarthy era. Now, wait to hear what Skip has to say, but Shannon, scale of 1 to 10, how impressive were the Cowboys?
3. Because I called it
A 3?
What part about 3 didn't you get? 1, 2, 3.
Like THRE? 3? Oh, 3. Wait, she said scale of 1 to, not 1 to 3, but 1 to 10.
Yeah. Okay,
No.
if you want to put a scale of 1 to 5, I'm going to give you a 2. You better be glad I gave you a 3. Skip, hold on.
A 3 for that?
Did I not tell you this was coming? You said it's going to be close. I said, Skip, they're going to steamroll them. I have seen enough of the Eagles.
Well, you didn't exactly pick a steamrolling score.
I say you're going to win by at least 10.
Oh, okay, that's a steamroll.
That was Skip the first of all. You cannot, Skip, there's no way you laid your head down on your pillow last night and felt good about that victory after what you saw. The Eagles were
I gotta get her new TV.
Do what you need to.
Seriously, I gotta get one of those Shannon Sharp cowboy hating specials.
Skip, the Eagles are a bad football team, especially offensively. First of all, they have a coach that shouldn't be a head coach. They have a quarterback that shouldn't be starting. And the game. Now, you talk about sabotaging with Bill Belichick and the game plan he used in the Super Bowl. This seemed very sabotaging to me that your starting running backs get 3 carries. Miles Sanders carries the ball. His first carry he gave 24 yards, and he only gets 1 more carry? Wow. And you thought that was a good game plan to let Jalen Hurts throw the ball how many times did he throw the ball? 39 times. Now you look at the stat sheet, if you didn't watch the game last night, and you look at the stat sheet, you're like, man, Jalen Hurts played good. But if you watched that game last night, nobody walked away from that game. No Eagle fan left that game, left their television set, or left the bar where they were watching the game and says, man, we got our quarterback of the future. He played awful. He threw an interception. You know on the go ball, you can't leave it inside because the DB is playing inside. He throws a pick 6. He takes a 3-step drop. He's staring down Devontae Smith with that alignment. What do you think Stephon Diggs was reading? 3 steps with that alignment. Oh, he running speed out. Let me jump it. And to the house.
Did you happen to notice that Devontae Smith fell down on the route?
Even if he doesn't fall down,
It's not going to be a pick 6.
it's not going to be a pick 6, but it's not going to be a completion either. Skip, you can't stare these guys down in this league. The guys are too good. They pattern read. They look at the formation. They look at your split. They look at the quarterback. It's a 3-step drop. What route you think they're going to throw the 3-step drop? A slant or out route? Speed out. And from that alignment, he can't run a slant route.
Could be a pump and go, right?
I would take my chances. I would take my chances that he going to go to 3-step, set, and then take 2 more steps to throw the ball. Skip, look. I get it. I know you all happy the Cowboys. We going to the thing. We doing it.
Yeah.
You laughing right now. You're beating them up. And Jenny's talking about the Cowboys in sole possession of the East. What she didn't say, the terrible division East.
Okay, I'll give you that.
Okay.
But they're going to run away. What did I predict? They will win it easily. Didn't I say that?
You did say
Are you
that.
ready to concede?
No, I ain't ready to see nothing because the Cowboys going to do Cowboys things somewhere down the line. All you know, the Cowboys are like a pig in a 4-H contest. Yes, you won. You got the ribbon. But guess what? You still a pig, and you know how it's going to end when it's all
Dallas
said and done.
Cowboys, Shannon Sharp, the Hall of Famer just called you a bunch of pigs in a poke.
Yeah,
Pigs.
it's a 4-H contest. You won the ribbon, but you didn't know how it's going to end. You know how this is going to end, Skip Bayless, right? Okay, just so you know,
So that's your prediction. It will end badly. Okay, are you here to predict right here, right now, that the field will win the East?
I left
Because
early.
gave
Why
you
is there a
TF
train?
The field. I gave you the Eagles and your Washington and your Giants.
And all of them are bad right now.
Okay.
And your team right now seems to be the best team in a bad division. But I know the Cowboys. History has told me one thing. The moment you think they're about to do this, they will inevitably do that. That's what I'm holding firm to.
Shannon Sharp, I got news for you this morning. History is about to be history.
Okay.
Because nothing
this is
that
a
has gone
freight
before
train.
matters right now.
Oh, yeah, it does.
What have I told you from the start about my Dallas Cowboys? Something is different with this team.
Yeah, the division is worse.
I give you everything that you said. The Eagles are struggling. They've been decimated in the offensive line. I give you all of that.
Oh.
Jalen did some good things, and he did some really bad
When did
things
he do the
last
good
night.
things?
Well, he completed passes of 41 yards, 38 yards, 27 yards, and that last touchdown pass to Greg Ward Jr. was a thing of beauty. There are...
The longest freight train in the world.
humans who could pull off the feat that touchdown pass was. That's what Jalen Hurts can do. But now let's step back from all of this, and I'm just going to give you my eye test, and I'm going to tell you from my heart, the bottom of my heart, what I witnessed last night. I saw, for the first time in the Dak Prescott era, a real live football team. I'm talking top to bottom, offense, defense, special teams. They looked like a football team to me last night. A team that actually could contend not just in the division, but in the NFC,
there
the
you go.
conference.
See, there you go.
The conference. I saw offense. I saw defense. I saw special teams. And I saw a Dak Prescott who is playing at the highest level he has ever played at. I told you in training camp, even though he got no repetitions, no preseason games, no padded practice repetitions, no joint practice repetitions, I was scared to death about that. But one thing I wasn't scared about, what did I tell you from watching him on Hard Knocks? There was a new serenity about Dak Prescott. He has embraced his place with that franchise, his position as the face of that franchise, the leader of that football team, and he kept talking about what gratitude he has that he got to come back and play the sport he loves with all his heart and soul. And it was a beautiful thing to watch. He said he was not crying during the national anthem. You saw something trickle. He said it was sweat. I'm still guessing it was a tear.
Right.
That's what I think, because I think he's been through so much on and off the field.
Yeah, especially you know the last time he played a meaningful game there, we know how it ended. We watched him cry going off the field because the uncertainty of his future, especially with the team.
And not only is he back, he is making $75 million this year.
Look at the
And last
fucking gap
night he
between you
stood
and the
up
car in
to it,
front
and
of
I
you.
wasn't sure he could. But the point is, I kept telling you, he crumbled under the pressure to prove to Jerry Jones that he was betting on himself and that he was worth $75 million. He was struggling going back to 2019 and all early last year. That wasn't the guy I had come to know and love. He was trying too hard. And once Jerry caved in and gave him his money and then actually told the world, I overpaid, told it to Dak's face.
Yeah, exactly. He sure did. Sat right next to him.
Yeah, sat right next to him and said, you got me. And yet Dak took that as a sign of respect to the point where he heaved a big sigh of relief and said, okay, he was forced to respect me at the level I believe I had earned.
Okay.
And here we go. And here we went again last night. And yet, what is my favorite all-time Cowboy stat now? Do you realize that in the Dak Prescott era, when they run it more than they throw it, they are now 26-0. What did I tell you yesterday? You have to at least be 50-50, and they went way beyond 50-50 last night. They went 41 runs to 26 passes. I thought Dak was just lethally efficient.
But Skip, you watching it, you see how deep, and I don't want to get too specific in it, going this and that. They're basically playing shell coverage, which the safeties are way off. And so you're basically saying, we're going to be able to stop the Cowboys with a 7-man box. Everybody it's hard to stop a team that can run the football like they can with a 7-man box. That's a light box.
Okay, Shannon, trust me on this. Anybody last night would have had a hard time stopping that run. They're now 4th in rushing in the league. I know it's a small sample size of only 3 games, but you know who's at the top. It's Baltimore and Cleveland and Tennessee. And guess who's 4th on that list? Zeke and company. And company now includes a Tony Pollard, who in the first half, what did I tell you? You got to go 50-50 with their snaps. In the first half, they went 11 carries Zeke and 10 for Tony Pollard. And what did I tell you? I said you have to play them some together in the backfield because you got thunder and you got lightning, and they're hard to deal with when you have them both on the field at the same time. They ran Philly off the field in the first half.
I could have got 15 yards against Philly.
I don't think you could, by the way.
Under lightning and crib. That's what they call me. With a bad hip, and could have got 15 yards.
All right, well, after the game, as Zeke said, they felt us. My offensive line was bulldozing last night. It was pass protecting, and it was flat out bulldozing.
Y'all bulldozing so much on 4th and goal, you couldn't get it in from the 1. You bulldozed so much again.
Well, guess what that play should have been?
It should have been a touchdown.
Back sneak. It should have been Zeke behind Zach.
Oh, now you won't see behind that.
Okay, Zeke is running like Banshee out of hell right now. He has gone back to Warrior Zeke.
Right.
Dak is back and Zeke is back.
But Skip, that's what he
We're
is.
into this later, but he is back on a mission to run between the tackles.
But that's what he is now. But see, you're expecting splash and dash. You expect him to have that same ferocity which he runs with and be able to hit his head on the goalpost like he did at Ohio State. He's not that anymore.
Okay, but Tony Pollard is.
Yes, okay.
So I've got a guy with the gear. And by the way, speaking of Tony Pollard, not only does he have a 4th and a 5th gear that Zeke no longer has, but that young man will power through contact.
Yeah.
He runs hard, man. Zeke has the best body lean still in pro football, but Tony Pollard will punish as well as Zeke. After a while, the defense is just saying, no, Moss, we don't want to tackle either one of
Well, the
them.
defense been on the field. Skip, there was a time that the Cowboys had, 19 first downs and the Eagles had 9 plays?
Yep.
What am I supposed to do with that? How long do you believe you can leave a defense on the field before they start to crumble?
What did we do to the Chargers at Los Angeles at SoFi Stadium? What did we do in the first quarter? Franchise record 13 first downs, tying the all-time record of 13 first downs in the first quarter. That's how you set a tone. All of a sudden, my team is doing something it didn't do last year. It is scoring first. It is taking command. How many times last year did they fall woefully behind? They don't do that anymore, right? I saw my team. Listen, opening night was no blip. It was no joke. It was no aberration. Opening night against the defending champs at Tampa Bay.
That defense isn't very good either.
You want to try to run against that defense?
No.
And again, they threw it 58 times and ran it 18, and I give them that one because you look at Vita Vea and company,
Exactly.
and JPP was there healthy that night, and obviously Shaq Barrett, those 2 linebackers, and you just say, we just can't do that against them. Well, I think if you rethought it now, after what they did last night, and they went back to Tampa and they could replay the opener, I think they would try to ram it up, right down their throat.
But here's the thing, though, Skip. After watching what everybody else, the success they're having throwing the ball against Tampa, they saw what Matthew Stafford had, and he had 2 underthrows. Matthew Stafford could have well been close to 500 yards passing. Everybody else has been able to throw the football because, like you mentioned, everybody has healthy offensive line. They're not able to generate the pressure that they once could, and now the back end is getting exposed. So if I'm Dallas like, yeah, we could possibly run it, but why run it? Dak threw for 403, and he's not in harm's way. They probably want to throw it 65 times this time.
Okay.
But all that being said, Skip, you know the Eagles offensively aren't very good.
I'm eye testing what I saw from my team in a big division.
We don't care about, okay, your team. You eye test your team. What about the other team? Your team was not playing themselves. What about the other team?
All right, I don't want to talk about the other teams. I want to talk about my defense. When Mike McCarthy said recently, I have never seen one side of the ball flipped the way I saw our defense get flipped in the offseason, I chortled a little bit. I rolled my eyes. I was a little sarcastic about it here on the show. But I thought there was a
that's cool.
possibility, there was
Down
at
to
least a
35.
grain of truth in what he was saying. Well, now I think there are 10 pounds of truth in what he's saying, because I have never seen a defense go from hapless and hopeless early last year. Remember what they gave up? 307 yards
80
rushing
fucking
at
miles an
home
hour,
to
bitch.
Cleveland, then 294 at Baltimore, and then again on a Monday night to Arizona at 261. Do you realize, I know it's a small sample size, but I'm seeing it on the rise. Do you realize my defense has allowed the sixth
Fuck
fewest
out.
yards rushing in the league?
Ain't nobody
That's
rushing.
top 10.
But
That's
how about,
top 10.
what about the passing yards? What they line passing?
Well, all I know is we take command, and we continue with Micah Parsons as our edge rusher, where he should have been from the start. All of a sudden, we wreak havoc on poor Jalen Hurts last night. He had no chance. He had no time, because he's got to deal with Randy Gregory coming off one edge and Micah Parsons roaring off the other edge. And it got so bad, they wouldn't even let Jalen escape. What does he usually do about half his damage? With his legs. They're so athletic. They're so quick. They're so fast. They're so powerful. They're so nasty coming off the edges. He could not get loose. He never one time got loose where he said, oh, he gashed us.
Yeah.
No, he didn't gash
He
us.
didn't.
And they got behind so fast that they couldn't even try
He
to
put them behind. He did reason. He was the reason why they got behind.
Okay.
You know Jalen Hurts didn't play well. Skip, baby, why you? At some point in time, you're gonna have to admit what you see. You say your eye test. Well, your eye is telling
Jalen
you.
Hurts, he ran into a buzzsaw last night.
So what about last
During the
week?
game, he lost his left tackle and he lost his left guard. So I'm going to give you that.
Okay.
But I'm not going to give you anything else other than Trevon Diggs made a Pro Bowl statement last night.
What did I tell you?
Pro Bowl.
What did I tell you?
Pro
I said, Skip,
Bowl.
he has Pro Bowl, all pro potential. You watch him play, he has the skills.
Yep.
And he's only getting better because he's understanding how to study tape. He's reading formations, he's reading splits, and he's also looking at the quarterback. Oh, 3 steps, I'm jumping this.
Okay. 3 games, 3 interceptions, 1 in each game.
Yes.
And what did Jerry Jones say after the game last night? He's a receiver faking it as a DB.
Oh, he got tremendous hands.
And I saw Coach Saban on with Peyton and Eli on ESPN2 last night, the other broadcast, saying that, you don't underestimate his receiver skills, that they think his ball skills are right up there with anybody. Well, guess what? They're probably up there close to what his brother can do.
Right.
Who's obviously a very good
But
receiver.
Skip, you know the really good corners all had good hands. You look at Deion hands. You look at Charles Woodson hands. You look at Ron Woodson hands. The only historically great corner, Darrell Reeves didn't get a whole lot of interceptions,
Okay.
but the ball didn't come his way. But those other guys that I mentioned, if you threw the ball in their direction and they got their hands on it, it wasn't hitting the ground. It was going back the other way.
I got it. Well, that's what I got at one point.
Yes.
Jerry concluded on Trevon that he is a difference maker. I've told you from the start that a guy that you saw coming, Micah Parsons,
Yeah.
he is a difference
Yes.
maker. He is changing the way that whole unit plays. It's contagious energy and playmaking. And he was wreaking havoc on poor Lane Johnson, who once upon a time, before a bunch of injuries derailed him, he was at the top of the line for the right tackle, right? And what happened last night, if we could see the holding call late in the game, he just finally said, I can't deal with you anymore, and he tackled him and got a holding call. Lane Johnson had to tackle Micah Parsons.
Well, he got a hand. Well, Parsons got a hands to the face that he didn't call, but he got a hold.
He was going to just annihilate poor Jalen Hurts in the pocket. There's no way he was going to get the pass off, which happened about 4 other times. And the point was, here's the bottom line, the punchline to
you were
this
doing
is
so
that would you believe
good.
Lane Johnson came up to Micah after the game and said, would you give me one of your jerseys?
Right.
So that's how much respect. Has Lane Johnson been in some big battles before?
Yeah.
Against some really good edge rushers?
The thing is that Lane hasn't had to deal with a guy as quick. Most of the guys are bigger. They don't have the fast twitching like that, and that's why your linebackers a lot of time. You get your TJ Watt, you get your Von Miller. Those guys are a little twitchy. And they say Myles Garrett. Now, don't think that Myles Garrett. I'm not saying Myles Garrett can't bend the edge, but they're a little twitchy. And this is a rookie. And you're talking about a guy that's Lane Johnson been in the league for a decade, coming off injury.
Yep.
So he doesn't have that same quickness, that same posse with him.
Micah's jersey, could we exchange jerseys? That's the, you know this, that's the ultimate sign of respect. I don't know if you ever wanted to trade
we
jerseys.
didn't do it.
You just didn't do it.
Well, we did. I mean, I think I got me and Ray the exchange jersey when I went back to Denver, but it wasn't a thing like it is now. Skip, is it you when normally did that? You helmets with the Pro Bowl.
Okay.
And now guys,
You are such a little
I'm going to
bitch.
remind you, DeMarcus Lawrence will be back at mid-year, and he's up at the top. He's a top 5, not so much an edge rusher, but a defensive end who can play the run and the
so
pass.
you take my part for that field?
We'll figure that out. We're going to be so deep. And I'm going to remind you, Keanu Neal will be back, I assume, next Sunday. He's on the COVID list. And they are now a 5.5-point favorite over Carolina. And I have respect for Carolina. Carolina, obviously, without your little man, Christian McCaffrey.
And
J.C. Horn is down. But the point is that here they go. And Keanu Neal will be back. And then, remember, Michael Gallup will be back sooner than later. Am I right about that? And my
I'm
right
gonna
tackle,
kill you.
Lyle Collins,
I am
will be
literally
back
going
in
to fucking
3
strangle
more
you.
games. He will be back.
How we know we ain't trying to bribe another win like that?
Know that, but he is. It's not like he had a season-ending injury. He did not. None of these are season-ending. They will all come back, and as they do, my team will get healthier and hotter and healthier and hotter, and the momentum is going to just go right through the roof of AT&T. I'm just. They've got Carolina and the Giants to come at home.
So you look at the Giants. You look at Carolina the Giants. Are you trying to look at pictures?
I'm just saying. I'm licking my chops.
You licking your chops. You hear that, Giants?
In all my time of watching a Dak Prescott team, never seen him play at a higher level or them look more like an NFC contender. Because I'm going to remind you, as great as they were his rookie year, 13-3, what happened first round of the playoffs? They got a bye. Obviously, they got Aaron Rodgers at home. What was the score after a quarter? It was 21-3, Aaron Rodgers.
If you're fortunate enough to make the playoffs, it gonna happen again.
Okay, and then what happened when they came out here to the game at the Coliseum 2018 when they won the division? What happened? They were down 20-7 at halftime. That won't happen with this team. New spirit, I keep telling you, a new confidence, a new swagger to this team. I loved what I saw. I've never been more impressed since Dak Prescott took over as quarterback than I was off last night off my eye test. You are in trouble. The league is in trouble because if this team continues on the arc it's on, it's going to be a contender right up there with Tampa, right up there with the Rams, right up there with the Packers to win the NFC. It's going to be the team nobody wants to deal with in the postseason.
You do this every year.
I don't do it every year.
Every
I've
year
never
you do
said any of the things I just said on this show. I've never said them before.
I remember when your Dallas Cowboys went to Green Bay and beat the brakes off of Aaron Rodgers, and you came in here and you did a backflip. I thought you was Simone Biles.
All
Did a
new.
backflip.
All new.
Now,
That's the only time I've ever been compared to Simone.
you turn
The last time.
yeah, and here you are, the Cowboy who you still that dead. He outplayed Aaron Rodgers.
I don't think I said that.
You doing it again, Skip.
That was more of a Zeke game
See,
than a Dak.
me, you see how I am?
Yeah.
I'm humble in victory.
No, you're
I'm gracious in defeat.
horrified. Is what you are.
I'm not that stuff out.
No one.
If I can name 5 teams off the top of my head better than your Cowboys.
Yeah, no one is humble at that table in defeat or in victory. Not around here, not on this show.
Your day coming though.
No, your day has
Let's
arrived.
enjoy this right now. We are not
Let's
done
enjoy
talking about the Cowboys.
Charlotte Wilder here to tell you about my new podcast with Mark Titus called the People Sports Podcast. It comes out every Thursday, and Mark and I take one of the big stories of the week, and then we go off on tangents you never saw coming. This might mean that we start talking about the Dodgers winning the World Series and end up wondering if Knicks fans deserve happiness. Or begin with LeBron's greatness and end up drafting our ultimate beer league softball team made up of old athletes. Whatever it is, the only rule of the show is that it has to be fun and funny, because these days we can all use as many laughs as we can get. So check it out wherever you get your podcasts and come down weird sports rabbit holes with us. We can't wait to have you.
Well, the Cowboys dominated the Eagles last night in a 41-21 victory. Dak Prescott threw 3 touchdowns in his first game back in Dallas since injuring his ankle last October, and afterwards admitted it was an emotional experience playing in front of the home fans again. He also added, quote, "I feel like I'm playing the best I've ever played." How about that? Shannon, where would you rank Dak in the MVP race right now?
Well, he ain't in the top 5, so I rank him right there. So he not okay. I got Derek Carr 3-0, 400 yards passing per game, and won 2 games in overtime. We know the teams that he's beat. Matthew Stafford 3-0, changed the Rams' trajectory, 9 touchdowns, 1 interception. Kyler Murray, averaging 335 yards passing the game to go along with 7 passing touchdowns and 3 rushing touchdowns. Josh Allen, the Bills have scored 35 and 43 points in the last 2 games. And your guy, Tom Terrific, he can't be in front of the GOAT. Now, is he in front of the GOAT? I didn't think so.
My turn?
No, it's not your turn just yet. So I just gave you 5 guys. So he outside of the top 5 automatically. And I'm going to throw Derrick Henry in there because Derrick Henry's running away with the rushing thing. I know it's an early sample size, but he got almost 400 yards rushing the football. But anyway, now.
So now you got Dak down to what, 7?
Let's go. You asked me was it your turn. I said no.
Yeah.
So I don't even know you commented on what I'm saying. I'm going to give you an opportunity to respond. Now, second, Dak Prescott. He is first in completion percentage. But did you know he's only 14th in yards per attempt? He's 16th in plays of 20 yards or more. That's tied with Big Ben. Big Ben went from 38 on Sunday to 44. He aged 6 years in 1 day. We know he can't throw the ball down the field. That's who your guy's tied with big plays.
You got Jones, Dwayne Jones.
12 fewer than Derek Carr. Derek Carr running away with that right now. And the Cowboys, you won it, you skipped. Y'all really should be 1-2. You know good well the Chargers should have beat you. The Chargers should have beat you.
I don't know.
You do know that. But you got off the hook. Never, hey, you know what? I'm not going to even say it like that. You know what? You're 2-1. I got 5-6 guys in front of you right now for the MVP.
I think you just named 6. So you got Dak Prescott 7th. Did you watch and hear and take that to heart? Dak Prescott.
Okay, so where you?
Dakota Rain Prescott.
Okay, so where
R-E-I-G-N Rain.
Well, I want to know what Skip Bayless has.
You know what? I think you've been watching the wrong league. Are you watching like Premier League maybe football?
I'm watching the right league.
This is American football.
Okay.
It's called the National Football League. Maybe it's been so long since you played. You forgot. You got mixed up.
I watch it occasionally.
Are you? Maybe you get your wires crossed up there. Your palatial estate in Bel Air. I don't know what you're watching. I told you yesterday, I give Derek Carr the slight edge after 3 games because he has overcome John Gruden, who does not believe in him as a starting quarterback for the Las Vegas Raiders, and he's gotten them to 3-0, as you said, with 2 late clutch passes in overtime to save the day against the Ravens, obviously, and then the Dolphins Sunday. I'm going to give that a number 1 to the 1A, who is Thomas Edward Patrick Brady.
Last stop.
Tom Brady leads the league in touchdown passes with 10. He's second in yards to only Derek Carr, who leads in yards passing, just strictly yards passing. And what have we seen from Tom Brady against my Dallas Cowboys on opening night? And I think that was a way more significant NFC game than anybody gave it credit for. It took Tom Brady with 1:24 left on the clock, driving them 57 yards in 11 plays to pull that one out at the wire with a walk-off field goal. Am I right about that? Then he came right back against a division rival, Atlanta. 5 touchdown passes.
Really, Skip?
Followed up Sunday at Rams, in which they could not protect Tom Brady from the great Aaron Donald, the greatest defensive player ever. And what did he do against the great Aaron Donald and maybe the best defensive player?
Lose. That's what he did. He lost.
He threw for 432 yards with 0 interceptions. That's one for the mantle. That's a masterpiece.
Who put losses up on the mantle?
I don't know.
Only Skip Bayless and the Cowboys.
Interesting. So that's his body of work this year, and I'd say that's a 1A to Derek Carr, which brings me to my man Dak Prescott, who has just skyrocketed up the ladder to 3rd.
He in front of Matthew Stafford.
Absolutely.
Man, you watch him. Just stop this.
He is completing 78% of his passes. 78%. That leads by far the whole league. He is deadly dart throwing accurate. And what did he do on opening night at Tampa Bay?
He lost.
He drove them 60 yards in 11 plays to set up the 48-yard field goal that I thought for a moment had won it. Then I thought, oh, it's the GOAT. And again, you must have thought, oh, they're going to win it because you have no respect for the GOAT because you don't even think he's the GOAT. But the point is, that put Dallas up 29-28 with 1:24 left. I'm going to give him high marks for that drive because he faced a 3rd and 1 and had to hit my man CD for 6 yards. And then he faced in that same drive a 3rd and 11 and had to hit CD up the sideline for 31 yards. You want to talk about clutch? He went 6 out of 8.
Once give you know what? I might have would have put him in third place. Had instead of setting up the game go ahead field goal, had he put a touchdown on the board.
Oh.
But he didn't do that.
So then we come right back against Justin Herbert. Boy, was he good Sunday at Mahomes, boy. Whew.
Yes.
He put it on. He outplayed Patrick Mahomes at Mahomes, boy.
I'm glad
right?
you brought him up because I'm putting him in front of Dak too.
Really? Okay. So the point. Oh, so now Dak.
Yeah, I'm glad you brought his name up. I totally forgot about him.
All Dak did in that game was to drive them 49 yards in 11 plays late in the game by going 5 of 5 in that drive to set up the game-winning field goal. There was a lot of clock mismanagement. We even saw some at the end of the half last night from
I don't know what McCarthy did. Skip, why would he call a timeout and get that extra minute and 5 seconds?
It's just one quick timeout, and you save 20 seconds, and maybe you got a shot to go get a field goal.
Thank you.
And you're on fire on offense.
But that's your coach. You think you're going to win something with him. Okay, but go ahead.
Okay, so my point is there was a 3rd and 4 from his own 19 that he hit my man Zeke out of the backfield for 7 yards. It was a huge throw, clutch catch by Zeke. That was a big-time drive. And then what did I see last night? I just saw tour de force. In fact, I can't even remember his incompletions last night. 21 or 26 he was for 238. And if we could see the one throw to Cedric Wilson up the boundary, that was just sensational. That was ruled out of bounds.
It wasn't no rule. He was out of bounds. You make it seem like they...
I got it, but was this not a great throw? How about an athletic plays rolling the wrong way, cross-body on the run, and just throws a strike to little Cedric slot receiver Wilson, who made an incredible grab and couldn't get the second foot down.
Well, why would the official say
Was that not a great throw and a great catch?
I know 5 guys on top of my head can make that exact throw.
I'm demonstrating that was an incompletion last night.
Right. So why are we talking about it?
Because I'm showing you how lethally accurate he was on everything that he threw. It was Dak playing at the highest level.
That's a foul ball, Skip. The only time we talk about foul ball, somebody catch them, they got a beer in one hand and catch them on the other. Okay. Somebody holding a baby and they catch the ball. Why are we talking about a foul ball? That's a foul ball.
That was a 500-foot foul ball.
It's a foul ball. It don't count.
500 feet, just barely curved left of the foul pole
So-
and traveled 500 feet. That's what happened.
I cannot believe you sat right there on that seat